I talked about in 2018, this is the tax sale of a lifetime, and I don't think the message changes that much. Another 8 years, let's re-up. It's still the tax sale of a lifetime. The tentative working title is The Secret Order of Millionaires, which has a cool Dan Brown, Da Vinci Code type feel for it. And that's what we're going for. But it's really aimed at the younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, those who, according to my research, they have less money accumulated than their Gen X and Boomer forebears by the same age. They tend to be less educated on investments, less prepared for retirement. So this is a book that's really aimed at the younger generation. I sort of enshrine what I call 7 principles of investing success, how to become a tax-free millionaire. And I couch all of those principles within, like I said, a cool story with a cool twist ending. And I think for the younger generations, not that they're not willing to sit down and read, a boring old business book like, Tax-Free Income for Life. I just think that if you couch those principles within a cool story that sort of shepherds you through the whole process, I think people are more likely to not just start the book, but finish it as well. So I'm excited for that book to hit the shelves.
Yeah, that's exciting. So what number is this? What book? How many books have you written so far?
It depends which ones you want to count. I've written 2 novels. I know you've read one of my novels. I've written, I think this is 5 business books. 5 or 6 business books, 2 novels. So I think we're up to 7 or 8, something like that.
That's really exciting. Would you share? This is a little off topic, so I hope everybody indulges me. But would you share your process, your writing process?
Particularly when it comes to writing something like this, which is more sort of fiction. I basically I brainstorm onto my phone. I got a little section in my notes where I brainstorm the plot, and sometimes that takes. Stephen King says you can't just come up with the plot in the shower. It has to sort of distill upon you like dew from heaven, and so you have to just be prepared when the plot twist or some facet of the plot drops into your brain. You have to be prepared to sort of write it down. And so over the course of several months, I'll write ideas about the plot onto my phone until I feel like it's completely fleshed out, like the whole plot is fleshed out. And then I break it down into chapters and make sure that the chapters, flow smoothly. And then I sit down and I write each chapter. And then once I write each chapter and the story is basically done, I revise it about 25 times. So that, so it's smooth, everything makes sense, there aren't any plot holes. And then I send it off to my editor, and my editor comes back and says, Dave, there's a plot hole here you could drive a semi-truck through. We need to plug this plot hole. And so then you find you put it in the hands of professionals, and they tell you what you need to fix, and then you fix it, and then you send it out to be published. So.
Yeah, that's exciting. Good for you. Well, we all enjoy your books. I know I get a lot of great feedback from folks, and I keep a good supply of them around to share. I don't even know how many copies of The Power of Zero I've given to people, and I know it's a tremendous resource. Are there any plans to update The Power of Zero at some? I guess it has to be. At some point.
I mean, probably this year. I'm just waiting to figure out what the update's going to be. So once the Congress informs what the new tax legislation will be, I would imagine that as soon as that bill passes both houses of Congress, and we know for sure that what's going to happen with the Trump tax cut extensions, I'll talk with Penguin Random House, and here's the thing: it's not going to be that much of an update, because I talked about in 2018, this is the tax sale of a lifetime, and I don't think the message changes that much. Another 8 years, let's re-up. It's still the tax sale of a lifetime. But the only thing that's really changed is the debt and how bad it's going to be on the back end. So I'll probably bring in, some discussion on that and where things are headed from a fiscal projection. But it should be largely the same book by the time all the dust settles.
It just we have a little bit of time left, and but I'm just thinking about David Walker. So what's David doing these days? Because he's prominent in your movie, he's prominent in your books, and in the Changing World of Retirement Planning, and just for those, there's a lot of new people that may be listening to this that attended the Changing World of Retirement Planning class in January, and I have another one starting in the 1st of May. And Dave's the author of that. And then I've told this story 100 times, but I met Dave at an Ed Slott training event, and he had given his book, The Power of Zero, to everybody, and he did a great presentation on the Power of Zero principles. And then Dave and I started talking, and he said, well, I run these, or I have this university program, and if you want to learn how to do it, come on out. And I think it was Milwaukee in January. That's really cold in Milwaukee.
Well, you know you're committed, right?
Puerto Rico's better. I'll visit you there anytime, but well, maybe not in August. But anyway,